Hello, hey, it's Chris, and I am back. I am at Gosnells of London in Peckham Rye, South London. I am with Tom Gosnell, and we are going to talk about mead. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm okay. Thank you for your time.
No, thanks for having me. No, you're in my place.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
there you go.
Thanks for inviting me to your place, your meadery.
Yeah, exactly, our Meadery.
Yeah, wow.
The only one in London as well. There you go.
Yeah, wow. So you make mead,
We do make mead.
which
So,
from the very beginning is
honey and water.
Honey,
So
yeah.
basically, mead is an alcoholic drink that's fermented from honey.
okay.
There's lots of different types generally, but it has to be more honey fermented than anything else. So the meads we make here are actually all honey. So
Okay.
all the sugar and all the alcohol is derived from the honey.
Okay. Wow. And why?
Why?
How did you get started making
So
mead?
I used to be an amateur cider maker. So a friend's got a farm down in Dorset, and we used to go down each autumn and bottle some cider, and it kind of got better and better each year. And then I was actually travelling in the States on the East Coast and came across mead. Well, I had mead before, but it was the first time I'd had mead that was, I guess, well made, well crafted,
Okay, yeah.
and not a weird novelty castle gift shop sort
Okay.
of thing. And it kind of really sparked kind of this idea that you could turn amazing honey into amazing
Yeah.
alcohol, and there's that link there
Right.
that I hadn't really appreciated before that. That was probably about 6-7 years ago.
What makes the difference between something like cheap trinket in a cute bottle and like a craft mead?
So I think it's always all about flavour with drinks, isn't it? So it's about there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just, for me, I like to be able to trace the flavour of the honey. You can come in here, you can taste our raw honey, and then you can taste the drink, and you can see that link through, and you can see where the sort of the story is and where it's come from.
Okay, where does your honey come from?
So for our sort of flagship product, the main Gosnells of London product, it comes from Spain. So we use an orange blossom honey. Basically, bees will eat whatever is around.
Yeah.
So when the orange groves are in bloom, the bees forage in about a 3-mile radius. So basically, all they're eating is that orange blossom, and it gives it a really distinct flavour.
Okay. Right.
Which means that year after year, it's the same flavour of the honey, which means you can get a repeatable product out of it. We've just done our recent batch, which I think you've tried it, the vintage.
Yes, it's
vintage,
delicious.
Which
Yeah,
is
it's part of the reason why I'm here now.
there you go. So
Yeah.
that's a bit stronger, but it's made with London honey, so 100% London honey.
Okay.
And what's cool about that is that we're hoping to release one each year, and that will be different each year. And the flavours, depending on which hives we've taken and where the bees have been, and what the climate's been like that year, and those kind of things will really affect the flavour of the honey and then the mead afterwards.
How would you describe the vintage, the London vintage?
So where the Gosnells of London, the original, is quite fresh and floral and citrusy, the vintage is a lot, I guess, richer, denser. It's also 12%, so it's stronger.
Okay.
And it has those hedgerow flavours really coming through, which you can kind of, I think, when you taste it, you can kind of imagine what the bees have been foraging on.
Yeah.
Those kind of blackberries, sloes, those kind of flowers that kind of are wild in London.
So thinking about mead compared to, say, wine, there really is a strong terroir element to
And I think that's the best word we use to describe it. And I think there's a lot of story to be told about the honey and what the bees have been up to, and how that impacts the flavour of the honey, and then the flavour of the mead afterwards.
Okay.
There is a direct link. It's really exciting. It's interesting.
Yeah. And what, I guess, is this like the oldest alcoholic beverage?
Yeah, I think so. So basically, if you take honey off the hive in the spring or sort of early in the season, it's quite. It can often be quite watery. And if you let honey mix with water, it naturally, the wild yeast just get in there and it ferments. So it's definitely got a good.
Do you add it here, or is
So we add a house yeast here, which is based on a lager yeast, like a Pilsner yeast.
Okay.
So it's quite crisp and clean. Or certainly for the Gosnells of London product, the core one, it's quite crisp and clean. But if you leave honey and water around, it will just get a yeast infection.
I had some friends in university, and they did that every New Year. They would bury honey.
Oh yeah.
In the ground, and then at the end of the year they had a big party for their mead, and
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because I think of it. I don't know. I mean, was it the Vikings? So
it goes way
Celtic.
back. I think it goes back to sort of, they found some pots in China from like 10,000 BC.
Right, okay.
So it goes way back. And actually, if you look at ancient cultures across the world, they all have some sort of honey ferment that starts, and you still see it in places like Ethiopia, which has got the Tej culture. And then in Roman Greek times is when bees started to be domesticated, so moving them from wild hives into sort of more managed hives, and that was for the production of wine. That was to sweeten up the wine to make it more palatable.
All right, yeah.
So there's quite a lot of stuff around, and then it continues. I mean, talk about the history forever, but the history kind of continues through to, I guess, in the UK, you've got when it was quite prevalent in sort of Anglo-Saxon culture. Things like Beowulf is the classic, English literature tome about it. And then 1066 happens, the Normans come in and they bring their own alcohol culture. So that is cider, that is wine, it starts to displace that kind of that mead.
Okay.
And then beer sort of starts to become a bit more developed, and really I think it's in the 14th or 15th century when they start adding hops to beer, and that massively increases the shelf life of beer.
Right,
so it takes it from sort of a 2-3 day shelf life to 7 days, which makes it much more viable. And then finally in the Tudor times there's a massive sort of spike in honey prices, and there's a bit of a theory that maybe some of the problems that we've been having with bees recently have also occurred previously in time.
Oh, right, okay.
And that was kind of the end of any mass production of mead, really up until the 20th century.
Oh, fascinating! Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a shelf life to mead? Does it?
So no, it depends what kind of strength it is. Ours is 5.5%. When it's in the bottle, it'll last for pretty much forever. It's been sort of pasteurised in the bottle. It ages like a wine.
It does.
The stronger ones will age like a wine. Okay. So there's a length of time, but
so they'll mature and have a richer flavor.
So I think that vintage we made probably will benefit from about a year in bottle.
Oh, really? Fascinating. And what does that vintage bottle cost? What are your prices?
So the vintage is £25 and it comes in a nice gift box, perfect for what's the next occasion? Valentine's Day? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mother's Day?
Yeah. Let's look it up before Valentine's Day.
And the regular mead is about half that, so it's about 10 to 12 pounds in shops.
Are you all over London?
We are in quite a few sort of bottle shops, so Whole Foods and Odd Bins, Borough Wines, those kind of
specialty
shops. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. All right. Well, that's interesting. You mentioned earlier when you were in the U.S.
Yes.
Last time I really came across mead in a big way was last year when I was in the U.S.
Whereabouts were you?
I was in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And there was a mead tasting room, and they had meads from, I'm pretty sure, all over the U.S. Yeah. And I was surprised how, it was on a very sort of touristy street.
Yeah.
Was it King Street? I don't know. But it was the most popular business on the streets. It was a Sunday afternoon, but there seemed to be more people in there than all the other shops. And did a tasting, and it was really interesting. I didn't realize that they could taste so different.
Yeah, and I guess that's what's really exciting is that you can really take people on that story about what is honey and where it's come from, and then get these massively different flavors out of the same essentially the same product. Yeah.
How are people finding out about you, and what's the feedback been? How old's the company? How long?
I set up the company in 2013. So we're going a fair lick. I think we did a big rebrand over the summer, so moving from sort of smaller beer bottles into bigger wine bottles, and that was really because we spoke to everyone who's enjoying our mead, and they were saying, "Oh, we love it." Yeah. But we're not beer drinkers, and it was kind of getting lost in the beer section of places. So now we're in a bigger bottle, a bit more.
You drink it over with food, like a bottle of wine?
Yeah, like a bottle of wine, it's a really good opener, so it's a nice aperitif instead of like a Prosecco or a champagne. It's nice to kind of get the appetite going. And it's just pretty easy going. Right? It's kind of, you get the honey flavour coming through. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. Okay.
What's feedback like?
Feedback. So generally pretty good. So we'd say that 8 or 9 people out of 10 enjoy it. It's not a super challenging mead. I think most people's experiences with mead have been really cloyingly sweet, strong liquor. So more like a 16% dessert wine or fortified wine that's full of sweetness. We've dropped that sweetness way back, so it's more akin to sort of a Prosecco. Or
almost
it's like a nice light sweet sparkling wine.
All your meads are sparkling?
Yes.
That's a little unusual.
Yeah, it is a little unusual. I think that when we were first designing the products, at 5.5%, you need something to help the mouthfeel along. If it's a flat 5.5%, that is quite a one-note flavour, whereas with that sparkle just opens it up a bit. It's not super sparkling. It's not sort of like a lager or champagne. It's more like pétillant. It's like it's there's a little bit of life in the mouth.
Yes, okay.
Not super fizzy.
Yeah, very cool. And well, what's ahead for the
What's
year
ahead?
or beyond? Yeah.
Well, this week's the first week back, so there's lots going on.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, so we are full guns blazing. We're currently brewing our first, I guess, mixed fermentation mead. So it's a mixed culture of bacteria and yeast, and it's going to be a non-alcoholic version for January.
That would be something like kombucha, or
yeah. So it's a similar base to kombucha. It's a SCOBY-like kombucha that we're feeding with a honey water mix. So you get these beautiful, I guess, sour, tangy flavors with the honey inside of it, and it's really exciting because I think we all really like big flavors, and I think something that's missing when you're not drinking alcohol is those big flavors.
Yes.
And a lot of the kombuchas on the market are quite soft drinky, so they fall into that soft drink category. And what we're trying to do is create something that's a bit more adult and grown up, and that has a bit of an occasion about it.
It's a real trend at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit. And I think
sophisticated, non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I think people are looking for it, and up until probably last year, the options in most outlets are pretty limited. You can get a Coke or you can get a Sprite or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But we all make kombucha at home, and we were just talking about what we're going to do, and we were like, if we all do this, we could. Yeah, there's a product here. So we're doing a bit of that, and we're also looking at.
Is this? Not to interrupt you, but is this something that's already on the market? Other people are doing it, or are you?
No, I don't think anyone else is doing a honey kind of sour type of thing. So we'll be the first one. Yeah, it will be really exciting. That's going to go on hopefully this afternoon if I haven't kicked them out for too long.
You heard it here first, yeah?
Yeah, and what else? We're also looking at some more, I guess, mixed fermentation is something we're looking to play with. So that mix between different yeasts and bacteria to get another level of flavour into the mead. So we're doing a sour as well, which is like a more traditional sort of 3-4%, almost like a Berliner Weiss style sour, but with mead, which is exciting. And then we've got our honey club, which we've just launched. So we're teaming up with a different beekeeper each month to use their honey and then brew a small batch of mead. So you can basically, we're going to ship out a small pot of honey with the mead made from it.
Nice.
So you can just trace that story through.
Beekeepers must love you.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah. They suddenly come along and there's a new market, right?
Exactly, yeah. I think in London, most beekeepers don't struggle to sell their honey, though.
Right,
I think it's pretty desirable.
Okay. How did you track down the honey that you use from Andalusia?
So it's a Spanish honey. So we have a really good sort of importer who helps us kind of with some of those specialty honeys. So we kind of settled on the orange blossom because of that repeatability of the flavour, and it's nice and sort of citrusy. The other thing to look at this year is widening out that scope of honeys, and looking at other flavours we can get out of that.
Okay. Oh, very cool. Well, I always heard that if you eat local honey, it helps with allergies and hay fever, things like that.
Yeah.
Do you know if that applies to local mead?
I mean, I would never make any health claims. I don't think it can hurt.
Couldn't hurt, yeah.
Couldn't hurt.
Okay.
But I think you wouldn't get the same. If you eat the pollen or the propolis, I think that's meant to be like a really good hay fever cure. I think ours is probably somewhat removed from that.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, hey, thank you, Tom. How can people find out more if they're interested?
Probably best to visit our website, which is www.gosnells.co.uk. And you get all the information on there.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks very much.